I wanted to make a living plant wall on the back of my aquarium, and I began putting Java ferns onto this mesh that I would hang from the back of my tank, and the results have been spectacular. Java ferns come in a few different varieties. So in my aquarium I've had some broadleaf, I've had some crested, and they have just taken over the entire tank. And they look absolutely spectacular, and I've really enjoyed how they look, but they have taken over the tank. They have been creating little new plants everywhere, and I would have hundreds of these small baby Java ferns now all just floating up on the surface of my aquarium. And there are just hundreds of these plants. It is wall-to-wall plants with almost no room for the fish. Now I'm trying to sell these plants as fast as I can, and at the same time grow some other plants in different ways to give them all a space of their own. So I'm working on getting these smaller plants bigger so I can sell them faster, and that's not an easy thing to do. There are so many of these small plants. So I've been racking in my brain to think, how can I possibly find a way to get all these plants growing in my aquarium to get them large enough that I can sell them. There are just so many of them. Now it did come to me, and the answer is a coconut. The coconut igloo has often been used for breeding fish, but in this case I'm going to use it to grow up some plants, and these holes are where the Java fern is going to be popped into to sit and to hold until it grows nice and large. And I've got the coconut cut into 4 sections, and each section has got so many holes. I'm going to line these shells with their Java ferns sticking out of them along the bottom of my tank to get them off the surface, and this way they're held down and the leaves are going to grow up nice and straight. So for the broadleaf Java fern, this is a perfect solution. So I can get these all down the bottom of the tank where I have got a lot more space, and they are going to grow nice and straight tall leaves, which is ideal for sale. So I'm really pleased of how these coconut shells have worked for me to hold and weigh down my Java fern until I'm ready to pull it out of its hole, pop it into a postal satchel and send it off to someone who is buying it from me. 2 special shout outs for Morning Driftwood and for GV Aquariums Australia, who guessed that's exactly what I was going to do with this coconut. And now that they're in the coconut, I can stand back and look at the tank and see exactly how it looks now. And it looks a whole lot better with all those floating plants now down on the bottom of the tank, on the base of that wall, and the tank is looking like it's a lot more space for the fish to swim. But I do still have a lot more of these very small floating crested Java ferns, which are still taking up a lot of space, particularly in one top corner. So the plan for them is to make some more space in a different way, and that is to make some floating pots like this Anubias nana petite. And I've got a whole lot of these little plastic mesh that plants came in when I bought them. I've kept them, and I'm going to put some media into it. I'm going to put a bit of floating styrene around it to hold it up so it does stay floating, and I'm going to put a lot of small plants into these little floating pots, and that's going to make a lot more space where the plants are really out of the water and can grow even faster right up near the light. And together that's going to make a lot more space down below for the fish, which they'll really appreciate, having that space to swim around freely. So this aquarium now has 3 different ways that I'm actually growing the plants. One, in a black mesh on the back wall. I'm growing them in coconuts in holes down the bottom, and in some floating pots up on the surface. And all these 3 methods mean I can have a lot more plants in a more controlled space, growing in a way that it looks much more neat and tidy, and I think you'll agree that the aquarium looks a whole lot better, and it's just plants everywhere, which I think makes a stunning backdrop to the fish. and the fish are able to show their maximum colours, display. They've all got places to go and hide, and lots of places to scatter eggs, and lots of places for young fry to hide away from the hungry adult fish. So altogether this aquarium has a lot of features which I'm really enjoying. So it looks good, there's places for fish to hide, the fish look great against the plants, and altogether I'm really enjoying the way this tank is performing. And unlike attaching the Java Fern or Anubias with glue or with string, the methods that I'm using in this tank are all very easy to detach, which means that I can easily reach in, take some plants out as I sell them, and I can always put some small plants in the same place to replace the large plant that I've just removed. So this is really a pretty exciting development, that this little plant farm can be easily harvested. And like I say, no glue, no string, everything very easy to take in and take out as I sell plants. So thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you on the next one.